show you how to do a brake pad and rotor replacement on any car. That way you're going to gain more knowledge, be able to do it yourself, and if not, if you take it to the mechanic, you'll be more aware and cognizant of what they do, and you'll get charged for any extra fees. Now, what we're going to use today is a 1994 Toyota Celica. So this is a 94 Toyota Celica. This is what we're going to be using today. Hey guys, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jack up the car, and then we're going to take off the wheel. We're first going to loosen up all the 5 bolts we have here. We're going to find the right one that works, and it's this one. So we're going to loosen it up first. This one. Once that's loosened, we're going to jack up the car. We're going to look for a place underneath the car to jack it. Once the car is jacked, we can now remove the wheel. We're going to remove the wheel. This exposes our brakes. I'm going to put the wheel underneath there. This is going to be your rotor here. This is your brake caliper here, and then your brake caliper bracket. We're going to have to remove these things here to expose the brake pad, and there are 2 bolts in the back here that we need to remove so that we can remove the rotor. I'm going to check which bolt, which socket will fit into that bolt. Looks like it's going to be size 14, so it is. We're going to use a size 14, and we're going to use that. So the bolt that we want to take out is the bolt up here and up here. I'm going to show you with the camera. So to take off the brake caliper, we need to remove this bolt and another bolt here. First, we're going to remove the bolts here. Pretty tight. We're going to remove both bolts up top here. You can see these 2 bolts here. And then this should lift. I'm going to have to use a pry bar or a flat screwdriver to pry it off. There you go. I'm going to have to use a C-clamp or a brake piston to push it back. We need to push this brake caliper piston flushed so we can put the new brake pads in. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to turn the wheel to the left so we can expose the 2 screws. So there are 2 screws, this one and this one here. So this one and this one is what we're going to remove to take off the bracket. So it uses a size number 17, this bolt and this bolt to remove the bracket. Before we remove these 2 bolts, we're going to remove the brake pads first. We're going to use a flat screwdriver. We're going to remove these springs here first. 1 and 2. And then we're going to remove this brake pad here. You see the brake pads are here. So hold. Now we're going to move the bolts. We're going to take a pry bar. We're going to take a breaker bar and move it counterclockwise. It might take a little bit of force. Maybe take a lot of force. There we go. Opened. I'm going to do it on the other side. The top one. Counterclockwise as well. I'm going to use the regular. Just going to use the regular socket wrench. I'm just going to go up and down like this. This one. There we go. Going to need some WD-40 as it's pretty rusty. Do this one by hand since it's already loose. Number 17 on this car. On many different cars, it may take 17, it may take an 18, it may take a 20. All depends on the make and model. So once that is done, we can remove this caliper bracket, and we can remove the rotor. There it is, rusted. Install a brand new one. See, perfect brand new. I'm just going to use brakes silicone just to lubricate these things a little bit because it gets heat. People might say no. I use them anyways. Okay, so we're going to put the caliper bracket back on. Make sure it fits right. Just to make sure, put it back on here. I'm going to put the other bolt back here. On older cars like this 94 Toyota Celica is easier to fix or replace for parts. I'm gonna tighten up the caliper bracket. Where did I put it? Here it is. Usually you can use a usually you get a torque wrench and see how many foot-pounds of torque you can bolt this, but for me I just tightened it by snug. It should work. There it is, both brake pads, front and the back one. We're going to put back the caliper, except these things are really tight. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take them off and lubricate the insides. So what you're going to do is you're going to take high temperature silicone, just lubricate them. Oh, fell on the floor. Put them in. Rotate them. This one up here has got to take off. We're going to lubricate them too. Lubricate here. So these are called the caliper sliding pins. Yeah. Now they're much more lubricated. We can tighten them up now. I'm going to put them here. Make sure they slide into play. I'll put them back here. Oh, one thing we forgot to do is put the new equipment on. Put this one here. One up. And this one here, one down. So once we put those two new hardware pieces, we're going to put back the caliper, put the brakes back in, press this, press that, and press this, make sure they slide on, and then we are gonna, you can grease it up if you want. I'm gonna grease it up. Grease this up. Make sure they go in. I'm gonna grease the other thing up. I'm gonna tighten it. The bottom. That is done. We're going to put it back together. So once that is done, when you put back the brake rotor, you put back the brake calipers with the two bolts in the back, and you put the new brake pads, and then tighten up the brake caliper on the two bolts. You're going to put back the wheels, and once you put back the wheels, you lower the car, and you're good to go. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.